Okay, so last time I didn't have my mic recording. This time I doth. So, you see how fuel car? I explained what the beep I'm doing in my first video. Go check that out if you haven't. This is the second consecutive movie that I've made in a year, in 2 years. October to October, so 2020 and 2021 is when I made these two movies. I made the first one, Harmonica, which you just saw if you saw it last time that I both did it, which is only about 4 minutes. And then this one, I think the runtime is about 11 minutes. Gotta queel my throat. My last film had to do with the introduction of a vice. Whatever addiction, inactivity, phones, TikTok, video games, all of that. Those can be addictions. You have no right to disagree with me. So, yeah, I'm really excited to show you guys what I put into this movie because this movie comes straight from me and my heart. Let's check it out. This guy right here is my really good friend Tyler. I've known him for over a decade, well over a decade now, but 12 years I think. So, he brought me to this location for a weekend, and like he had like 40 people from his work there, and I took the opportunity to make that location part of my film, and it worked so beautifully. You'll see why.
Do that if we're gonna.
Like settlers or go to the hospitality?
It's settlers. You're
That's a really important shot to me, if you caught that. The empty chair into the sitting alone. That's a really important shot for me. That's deep. It's like straight film expression for me right there, which film always is, and every shot is, I'm saying something. Film is a language, and I'm fluent in it. Just like I'm fluent in Portuguese. I'm fluent in English. I can't even say the word. You get it? Okay. If you'll notice the positioning that I have of my friends in a fire pit, combined with me sitting apart from them, is just kind of an interesting little expression of mine. And I'm not saying that I want my friends to go to hell. That's not what I'm saying by this imagery. What I'm displaying is the feeling of loneliness even when you're with people, and why being with the right people is so important to you, to your mental health. A lot of people won't catch this, but there's a ghost right there floating. A lot of people won't catch that, but it's sitting there floating. I just thought that was a cool shot, though. So the fact that they are black eyes with a red face was so perfect, I had to put it in my movie because it expressed for me what I needed it to. And being able to capture it in a shot like this is just the combination of a painting and cinema, and the effect that they have with the combination of music. It's this trifecta that creates this shot. Music and the ever-increasing chair creak. Now that ghost is a little bit closer. Three days later. So if you'll notice, right underneath me is a red pillow. That red pillow signifies something which in my horror movie Harmonica, there is another shot of a push-in opposing the pull-out from this shot with a red rag sitting underneath the harmonica. Red has a really large list of what it can signify in cinema. It can mean death, lust, passion, anger, and to me it means death and where addiction can lead. Again, I have this thing with reflections and mirror shots. And that was supposed to be a reflection of a woman walking across my eye here. And if I had better CGI effects capability, it would have looked a little bit better. But the meaning is still there for me. That the eye is the window to the soul. And so that has significant meaning to me in my past history, in my life. Is just like so much focus on lustful imagery.
That doesn't look correct, we'll throw it right in the trash. And so Briar Duet helps you solve that problem. It has cloud-based access, it's streamlined, it's super easy to use, and it makes sure your format of your screenplay is perfect. You can co-write these scripts.
These are just two coworkers of mine that I asked to sit in the shot with me and do this. I just asked them to do nothing with me. This is one of my favorite shots. I love that the tree is empty. Empty? Is that what you call it? And just beautifully composed, to be honest. There's a really interesting reflection here that makes me look whole. Makes me look whole, but I'm actually cut off here. But I love the reflection. Maybe it doesn't have meaning, but it has a really cool image to it. And it could have meaning if you wanted to read into it. I have this thing with locking and opening doors to connected. Not only I'm showing it physically, but it's a metaphor for like opening and closing your heart to the right and wrong things in your life. And not really knowing that you're doing so. You know, this is a really interesting image to me. I found it on YouTube. It was just a green screen image, and I thought I could make use of that in an interesting way just to show, like, what can be in a person's closet, you know. And then just kind of the lurking that thing in your closet can have. And the effect on your mood, which causes a shift in your priorities. So if, like, you're going to school and you can prioritize sex, drugs, and alcohol over your homework, where does that stem from? The shift in priorities. You might not even know, but where does that stem from in your life that is causing this coping mechanism. So I'm hoping that makes sense, and that would be really easy for a person to not see and interpret it that way when watching this. And if you'll see in this shot right here, I get up and leave, but my shadow stays. A lot of people can miss that too, but my shadow stays seated. Which leads into this sequence. Mirrors and reflections. They will always have great significance to me in a way that I probably can't even express unless it's on film like this. That right there, if you've ever seen The Big Lebowski, that is my ode to The Big Lebowski, which is one of the first movies I dove into and loved in film school. So I'm quoting that movie here cinematographically. 69 is an important number. It's just, it's just a symbol. It's just a symbol of the theme that's going on here. So instead of a harmonica being left at my door, it's now a thing appearing in my peephole or knocking at my door. When now that the door is unlocked, how'd that happen? Maybe they were already inside. So, the Wolverine claws, you might be wondering. And part of me wants to wait to explain them, but I think I can now. The Wolverine claws are to signify defenses, internal weapons, defense mechanisms, and armor that build because of addiction to something. That addiction might cause you to blame somebody. That addiction might cause you to reject somebody. Demean somebody, which wouldn't be natural for you to do if your heart wasn't attached to this one thing, if your attention wasn't attached to this one vice. So the Wolverine claws are kind of a big deal in signifying something that actually happens with addiction. And just kind of the painful process that it can be to unlearn some of these habits and to let the right people in instead of looking to alcohol, drugs, and sex to fulfill whatever void that you're needing. The opposite of a vice is a relationship. So if you find the right relationships with things and people healthily, like working out, if you build a relationship with working out, if you build a relationship with hygiene, to finances, as opposed to drinking, video games, movies, all of that has to be unlearned, and those are the Wolverine claws that I'm trying to push back in and get rid of. So this theme song, I asked my sister if she could score this movie for me. And so what I asked her to play was the Halloween theme song. If you've ever seen any of the Halloween movies, they're all going to have this or something like that. So I just asked Kinsey to play that theme song on guitar, send it to me, and then I just slowed it way down, and that's what scores my movie. I loved being able to utilize another horror film to emphasize an intense moment in my horror film. That's kind of cool. So that to me is kind of the bad self that you see come to light definitely through addiction. And the battle with yourself on who is going to be seen, who's going to be shown to family members, to friends, to the world. On social media, who are you going to portray, the light or the dark in you? And sometimes the darkness will win and be seen more often than not, but that can be changed too. That to me, with the hand, what I'm trying to say is that something would have been slipped. The poisonous toxin that an addiction is for you, if you're in addiction, you're not going to see the poison that it is to you. So that's what I'm trying to say behind this. Has it kicked in yet? Can you feel it? I'll leave you to it then. The limbo of mental instability and paranoia that a vice and addiction can put you in. That's what I'm going for. That very beautiful, shocking imagery that I saw as a 13-year-old on the internet ended up placing me in a dark limbo, similar to the one that I just portrayed. I mean, if I had better CGI, I would have explained it a little bit better visually, but I work with what I got. And this shot right here, the constant thirst, being turned into a beast. That's why I'm shirtless. Being resorted to primal instincts because of this lustful addiction that I've rehearsed for so long. This is my expression of that time period for me. And you just become a joker. You know, I think that this poster really means something to me. And my movie, you just become a joker, a jester, a fool. You become a fool. And my place being messed up like that is not to signify the physical. It's meant to mean mental. When my apartment is dirty, I'm in a poor mental state. When my place is clean, I'm doing pretty well. I'm in an uptick. I'm in an upswing of positive mood and feeling. Because I know Collin as the Beast. I've seen that person. I've seen that person for most of my adult life. So when does change come? When do I grow up? I'm 27 almost. 27 in March. And I just can't keep living in that limbo. I can't live in that place, that dark place of limbo and terror. Because that place is real. And so, yeah, I can be the funny, goofy guy on TikTok, but there's a lot behind the scenes you guys don't know, you guys don't see that's going on. And I'm in a really big place of healing, extreme healing right now. And so I really wanted these dissections of my short films to be heard and listened to. I think it's important that it is for everybody, for anybody, faith-based or not, you know. Like, these are faith-based short films to me, but I'm not being overt about it. If I deliver a faith-based message to you in the form of a horror film, I don't see how that's negative, you know. That's just not, and that's pretty progressive thinking for a Christian. So, I don't know. I'm proud and humbled by the work that I'm being able to put out. So, thank you guys so much for listening. And stay tuned for my next short film dissection that I'll be doing of Trip, which I made before these both movies. So this will kind of be the prequel, but I had a lot of help making Trip. I made these two short films, horror films that I showed you guys, I made these alone. So I'm excited to show you my third venture, which is a prequel, because I made it in college. So, all right, thank you guys. Love you. Peace.